Reports circulating online claim that Russian authorities are considering extreme social engineering measures as the country faces a deepening demographic crisis, with birth rates falling to historic lows according to public statistics and expert analysis. The idea being discussed in media commentary and social platforms suggests limiting electricity access and internet availability during late-night hours, with the argument that fewer digital distractions could encourage families to spend more time together and potentially increase birth rates. While officials have not confirmed a nationwide policy, the discussion itself has triggered intense global reaction and debate about government control, private life, and the future of population management in modern societies. Russia, like several developed and developing nations, is facing a serious population decline driven by economic pressure, rising living costs, uncertainty about the future migration trends, and the long-term impact of the pandemic and conflict. Young couples are delaying marriage, postponing children, or deciding not to have children at all. Demographic experts warn that if current trends continue, the workforce will shrink rapidly, creating economic strain, labor shortages, and long-term social challenges, including pressure on pension systems and healthcare infrastructure. The controversial idea being discussed frames technology as a major contributor to declining birth rates, with policymakers and commentators arguing that late-night internet use, social media streaming services, and online entertainment reduce face-to-face interaction, disrupt sleep cycles, and weaken family bonds. Proponents of the concept claim that cutting off electricity or internet access during nighttime hours could encourage couples to rest, communicate, and reconnect, naturally leading to higher chances of childbirth. Critics, however, argue that such thinking oversimplifies a complex issue and risks violating personal freedoms, while ignoring root causes like income instability, housing shortages, childcare costs, and lack of social support. Public reaction inside and outside Russia has been explosive, with many people expressing disbelief, anger, and concern on social media. Users argue that controlling access to electricity and the internet would harm students, remote workers, hospitals, emergency services, and essential infrastructure, while doing little to address why people feel financially and emotionally unprepared to raise children. Others see the idea as part of a broader trend of governments attempting to regulate private behavior to achieve political or economic goals. Human rights advocates warn that restricting internet access, even temporarily, sets dangerous precedent, especially in a digital era where connectivity is essential for communication, education, commerce, and access to information. They argue that population growth cannot be forced through restrictions, and that coercive policies often backfire, creating resentment, distrust, and social unrest. Historical examples from different countries show that sustainable population growth is more effectively achieved through positive incentives such as affordable housing, parental leave, healthcare support, tax benefits, and accessible childcare. Supporters of stronger government intervention counter that the demographic crisis is a national security issue, and that extraordinary times require bold solutions. They point to rural pilot programs and energy-saving initiatives as possible models, suggesting limited local experiments rather than nationwide enforcement. They also argue that similar restrictions already exist in some regions for energy conservation purposes, and that structured digital downtime could improve mental health, reduce screen addiction, and strengthen family relationships. Economists note that birth rate declines are a global phenomenon affecting countries across Europe, East Asia, and North America, and that no single policy has proven to be a magic solution. Nations with higher birth rates tend to combine economic stability, gender equality, job security, affordable housing, and social trust. Without these foundations, restrictive measures are unlikely to succeed and may accelerate emigration, particularly among younger populations seeking greater personal freedom. International observers are closely watching the situation as misinformation and exaggerated claims spread rapidly across platforms. Some reports suggest the idea originated from opinion columns or regional proposals rather than official federal policy, highlighting the importance of verifying sources in an era of viral news. Nonetheless, the discussion reflects genuine anxiety within Russian society about the future and the survival of communities facing shrinking populations, closed schools, and abandoned villages. The debate has also raised ethical questions about how far a state should go in influencing personal choices like marriage, family life, and reproduction. While governments routinely encourage certain behaviors, through incentives, the line between encouragement and coercion remains controversial. Critics emphasize that trust between citizens and institutions is essential, and that policies perceived as intrusive can undermine that trust irreversibly. As the story continues to develop, experts urge audiences to separate confirmed policy decisions from speculative commentary and to focus on verified statements from authorities. The demographic challenge facing Russia is real and urgent, but solutions will likely require long-term investment, social reform, and public cooperation rather than sudden restrictions. The global reaction to this story highlights broader fears about digital control, population decline, and the balance between state power and individual freedom in the modern world. For now, the claim that Russia will turn off electricity and internet at night remains part of an intense public debate rather than a confirmed nationwide action, but it has succeeded in drawing worldwide attention to the pressures governments face as societies change and populations shrink. The coming months will reveal whether this idea fades as a viral rumor, evolves into limited local trials, or sparks new conversations about how nations can responsibly address demographic decline without sacrificing fundamental rights and daily life freedoms.